Well, good afternoon, everyone, and we appreciate you being here today. It's a very exciting day at the University of Pittsburgh. You know, I figured out a long time ago in basketball that if you want to win, you better get yourself a great point guard. And then we just absolutely brought in the best point guard that we could find to lead this program forward. It's an exciting day for all of us. You know, let me say first of all that this is an unusual situation when you're hiring someone in your hometown from people who you respect. It becomes a little bit delicate. And I called Greg Amodio earlier today and told him I appreciated how everyone at Duquesne had handled this and the way in which they'd approached this. I told him the hardest call I had to make was to him to ask permission to talk to Suzie because I knew the situation that would leave him in. At the same time, that should be a great reflection of what they've done there and what they've accomplished in their women's program, because certainly they made an outstanding hire 6 years ago. You know, we are excited because this is not only a great hire for a coach, but it's a great hire of a family. And it's so nice to have so many members of the family here. They filled the first 2 rows, I think, here.
Just wait.
But Pete is here, and Jordan is here, and Mandy's here, and Madison's here, and Peter is at Duquesne taking a test right now. So we'll hope for the best for him. The other 3 skipped school, so that's okay. But this really is a terrific day. You know, I told our players when I met with them a little over a week ago that I knew they had high expectations for what they wanted to accomplish. That they came to this great university to a great athletic program and a great basketball history here to be a part of something special. And not only did they want to win games, they wanted to win championships, and they wanted to be a part of something that is typical at the University of Pittsburgh, and that's complete excellence. This is a group that has done a very fine job off the court, very fine job in the classroom, and I know they're disappointed because they haven't won as many games as they would like to win. And so I said, I'm going to find a coach that's a proven winner. I'm going to find a coach that will expect a lot of you. I'm going to find a coach that will maximize all the potential that everybody who's here and everybody who will come here will have to get the very, very best they can out of their experience while they're here at Pitt. And this is absolutely the perfect fit. We conducted a nationwide search. We talked to a lot of tremendous coaches, a lot of very, very fine people. But it was clear from beginning to end when we met for the first time in my office at Heinz Field. We figured that was the last place anybody would look for an athletic director or a women's basketball coach to meet. So the time we came through the Pederson Event Center with the whole family at 11 o'clock at night and to tour the facilities, you know, we were pretty low key about all this during a national kind of a search, to sitting out in front of the Console Energy Center last night in my car signing the contract. So we really hit most of the sports venues in 1 week's time here, and that's got to be a real good Pittsburgh search, I would think. And I couldn't be more thrilled than to introduce our outstanding new head coach, a very fine person and an outstanding coach, Coach Suzie McConnell-Serio.
Thank you. I'll say this is the first pass operation. Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank you all for coming. This is a little overwhelming, walking into a press room with this crowd. But I can't tell you how excited I am, and incredibly grateful to Steve Pederson and Chancellor Nordenberg for this incredible opportunity. And it's an exciting time for me, for my family, for my staff who has come with me from Duquesne, that we will hit the ground running with a tremendous group of girls that I've had the opportunity to meet prior to this press conference. You know, going into the ACC with a new challenge, it being one of the best conferences in the country, we are truly excited about the challenge and the opportunity that presents. Now, we know that it will be a lot of hard work, And we are committed to working as hard as we can to bring the pride back to Pitt women's basketball. And we talked about when we step out on that floor that there will be a sense of pride of putting Pitt on our jersey, and that we will be able to compete at the highest level because of the hard work and the dedication and the commitment that we will make to being that team that represents this university. And I am truly excited. Honestly, I grew up a Pitt fan. I went to the little Panthers and was one of their ball handlers. I came to camps here. I am a Pittsburgh girl through and through. And I told Steve that I probably would have never left Duquesne for any other job than this job, because this is my home. This is where we want to live, and we are excited that I only had to come two miles further to work each and every day. So this is an incredible opportunity, and it is an incredible day for Pitt women's basketball, and I'm truly excited to be a part of something special.
I might note, too, I think this is unusual, and I told some people this morning that certainly her staff speaks for itself with the success they've had, and we're certainly glad that they're all joining here. But it just so happens that one of our great Pitt stars, who's one of my associate athletic directors, Kirk Bruce, his daughter Carmen is one of our new assistants on this staff, and Tom Richards, who was one of our outstanding Pitt stars, a member of our board of trustees, and his wife Mary Beth is also a Pitt graduate. Their daughter Lindsay is also on this staff, and I think that's a pretty unique connection. And I might also note that while Suzie's judgment was questionable in selection of college, that Pete's judgment was exceptional when he graduated from the University of Pittsburgh. And so we'd defer to him on a lot of important decisions as we go forward.
But we have been married for almost 24 years, so
okay.
It hasn't been a problem.
We can open it up for questions.
How long is the contract for?
This is a 6-year contract.
Suzie, will it be the same base recruiting for you here than it was at Duquesne? And how difficult of a task will it be to get this thing turned around?
You know, being at Duquesne, we recruited regionally, and when I look at the roster here for the women's basketball team and even across the board with the athletes, I know that this, you can attract nationally. So, I know we've been successful regionally, but if we have the opportunity to extend that, we will do that as well. I mean, we search for the best players that will fit our system, that we can get in with, and that will help take us to the next level.
You have a lot of players on your Duquesne team from this area. Are there enough around here to support?
This has traditionally been a hotbed for girls basketball. And no matter which school I would be coaching, my goal would be to keep the best players here, and if they're good enough to play at our school. So, I mean, if that's the case, then we will try to keep the best players here.
Suzie, can you describe, when you said fit our system, can you describe your system? How would you characterize it?
Well, I know that your system has to adjust based on your personnel. I've always been someone who likes to play an up-tempo game, but we weren't that this year because of the style that we had to play. We were more of a defensive-minded. I've always been more offensive-minded. So it's getting to know these players and the strengths of them and what they bring. And I know I run sets that lead into our motion for our point guard, for our wing players, for our post players, wherever we see we have mismatches or we have the most success. But we'll run some motion offense, like some versatility, post players that can step out, be able to shoot from the perimeter, take people off the dribble. But, just having played against this team, and I was joking with Brianna Kiesel as the point guard that I did try to recruit her a few years ago, had watched her many times in AAU, and we didn't get the time of day. But now it's come full circle where I have the opportunity to coach a great point guard. And, I played the position, and not that I slight any other position on the floor. You're right, it does start with a point guard. And putting the ball in her hands, I'm very excited about that opportunity.
Suzie, you guys have You guys had a lot of success against Pitt the last 4 or 5 years. And you're stepping into...
We didn't notice that.
Yeah. You're stepping into a league now that is a much different league. You're going to have Notre Dame coming in, Louisville, 2 teams which is in their Final Four coming in. You already have Duke and whatnot. What convinced you that you can win here? Is it the success that they've had recently in the NCAA, or what convinced you that you could come up here and win?
You know, it starts with Steve Pederson. When we first met, hearing his passion, his commitment to women's basketball, the excitement of going into the ACC, and then having the opportunity to meet his staff and the passion that they have. One of the people that I met with had a great line. It wasn't that we work until we're done, we work until it's right. And that's something that stuck with me. And just the commitment and the dedication and the resources that you have here. You have everything within reach to be successful. And my favorite part of my job is to coach, to teach the players, to work with them, prepare them for games. And they have all the resources in place that they allow me to do that and spend most of my time getting players here and then working to build a championship team. So it started with Steve, and then it was meeting with the chancellor and all of the people here at Pitt. So truly believe in what we have here, and that this is a special place that we can make a difference. And that was the first thing that I said to the team when I met them, is that I know they've spent their entire career here resenting me and despising me as the Duquesne coach on that other sideline. Just had to break the ice.
You know, I might note too that he was making attempts by catching an early flight to be back here today, but Coach Dixon wanted to be here for this press conference as well. He's running behind, so he's probably not going to make it in time. But you know, as I do on a lot of important things, I consulted with him, and I thought, you know, we're in a national search and we're looking at coaches all over the country, and I said to Jamie, I said, so tell me what you think. And he says, well, it's kind of a no-brainer, isn't it? And I said, I was looking for a little more, a little more than that. And but I have to say that you know, the relationship between our men's and women's basketball program is very important to all of us here. And I know that I did have the two of them spend time together before we made any decisions, because it was important to me that they both feel great about each other, and I think we just have two really special people leading these programs, and that's going to be good. That's going to be good for both of us, because you know, the men's and women's programs feed off one another, and we want to have the same kind of success in women's basketball that we have in men's basketball, and we will.
Coach, will you be retaining any members of the staff that was here?
Is that directed to me?
Coach, yes, sorry.
As of right now, no. The only position that I will have left open right now is the Director of Basketball Ops. You know, one thing that, to add to that, you know, the one thing that I always believe in, any team that I've been a part of, is we talk about chemistry. And chemistry on a staff, chemistry on the team, between your staff and your team. And I'm very fortunate. I know you mentioned two of my staff members, but Dan Burt is over here as our recruiting coordinator, and he has come with me as well as Carmen Lindsay, and then Lauren Reinschuttle will be our Director of Basketball Ops. And I'm very fortunate because we have great chemistry on our staff. And I believe that these players, these young ladies, will get to know them and appreciate them and love them as much as I do.
Suzie, when you go out and recruit, is your, you know, success as a player and all that kind of stuff, is it still relevant to today's players who, I mean, no offense, but it's kind of ancient history in some ways?
I appreciate you.
Well, I mean, these kids are all like, I'm old too. I mean,
I just appreciate that you're now covering us now that I'm at Pitt.
So what I'm saying is, or has it been your success as a coach that you find has been what has got you in the doors nowadays?
You know, I'm someone who doesn't talk about myself or any success that I've had very much unless I'm asked about it. I leave that to my assistants. to talk about the success that we've had. You start recruiting players at a young age, and you're getting on the phone with AAU coaches, and they have no idea who I am or what I've done, and that's okay, because it is them getting to know me, but it's selling the University of Pittsburgh and what we have to offer. But I know that the initial contact is with a coaching staff, and they need to get to know us. But they have no idea what I've done. Actually, when I read the press release, I said, who are you talking about?
And speaking of that success, the stellar resume that you have and all that you've experienced, can you say that being back in Pittsburgh, period, is just full circle for you?
It really is. Basketball, I've been very fortunate in the game of basketball to be all over the world, play at every level, coach at every level, and to be able to come back home. And, Steve, I know you said the contract was 6 years. He offered me 5. I wanted 6 because I'm invested. I want to be here. I'm not going anywhere. This is my last job, and hopefully I'll be here as long as he'll have me.
Suzie, you have a lot of stuff to take care of in the next couple of weeks, but when you finally hit the ground running, where do you want to, when you think of finally getting back to basketball operations, what's the first thing you want to instill in your players?
Well, the one great thing about this summer, like right now, today was the last day that we could do any individual workouts with them, so we don't have that opportunity. When they start school in mid-May, we will have the opportunity to get on the court. And I think that's huge, is being able to get on. They'll have a chance to get to know us, we'll get to know them. And, we always talk about players being made in the off seasons. We'll have the opportunity to help them get better over the course of this summer and work on their skills and see what their strengths are, and then be able to formulate where our strengths are, what we need to work on, and the types of things that we want to run for certain players.
After you had talked to Steve initially about the job, how long did it take you to actually make up your mind?
A week, I think, is after the initial contact.
Was
Few
it a
days.
difficult process?
It was. The hardest thing I had to do is say goodbye to the Duquesne team this morning.
Thank you.
Couple more questions? Everybody good?
When are you going to start with everything? Tomorrow, recruiting, and how does this work?
According to him, I've started last night when I signed the contract.
Anything else? Thank you, guys. Thanks for attending.
Thank you all for coming.
If you would like one-on-one, TV especially, let me know.
And I want to say one other thing, that we have an awful lot of our staff here, and we have such a great staff, and they're such terrific people and so supportive. And I would tell you, I could feel today an energy in our department that I haven't felt for a little while, in terms of what we feel about what we're going to be able to do in women's basketball. And I felt like everybody got up this morning ready to make this thing as great as we all know that we want it to be. And I know that Suzie's going to get the energy and the enthusiasm from every single person in this department to make this great going forward. And so you're joining a great team of people, and a great team of people that will be the best partners you've ever had. So thank you very much for being here.